Developing news out of the nation's capital. That's a live look from D.C. Congress still discussing the bipartisan federal infrastructure bill. The bill includes line items not seen in past pieces of legislation. Channel 5's Rudy Mireles breaks down what it could mean for the Valley if it does pass.
With August recess just 2 weeks away, a bipartisan group of U.S. senators is working to come to an agreement on an infrastructure package, something U.S. Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo says is desperately needed.
Go through any airport in America or train station. It's aging infrastructure, and it's time to make investments to rebuild it, and that's what this is for.
The framework for the potential bill boasting a price tag of $1.2 trillion over the next 8 years. Nearly $600 billion for roads, transit, and even electric vehicle infrastructure, and another $266 million spread out among water, power, and a new line item.
Money for broadband to make sure every single American has access to high quality, affordable broadband.
Hearing something like internet is something kind of new to when we talk infrastructure at the federal government level. Why is that so important to include in this framework?
Yeah, it's a great question, and you're right. We don't normally think of broadband as infrastructure. We think of roads and bridges and trains. I think everybody saw during COVID that internet is as essential as anything else. You know, we saw kids couldn't go to school because they didn't have internet. People couldn't go to work. They didn't have internet. Couldn't go see the doctor if you couldn't have internet.
Here at home, City of Brownsville leaders echoing the importance of broadband internet connectivity.
Here in Brownsville, we are amongst the most disconnected cities in the country.
In 2019, the city began plans to bring broadband internet to areas of Brownsville with little or no connectivity.
The pandemic validated that we were on the right path by taking the future into our own hands.
This month, the city taking it a step further, using almost $20 million from American Rescue Plan funds for installation of 95 miles of underground fiber, speeding up the city's 5-year plan, and new infrastructure funding to help could speed it up even more. City Manager Noel Bernal says lack of connectivity is a 21st century barrier for typically underserved communities.
It is the most inequitable form of infrastructure that remains out in communities.
And Raimondo says those communities are the target for the potential upgrades, the pandemic shining a light on those who need help the most.
There were a lot of people who struggled more than they've ever struggled. And so the whole point of Building Back Better is to get to them. And, you know, President Biden says this all the time to us on his team. We cannot fully recover until everybody's part of the recovery.
In Brownsville, Rudy Mireles, Channel 5 News at 6.